won't always feel like it. You won't always wake up inspired, hungry, or driven. Some mornings you'll open your eyes and the weight of effort will feel heavier than usual. The mind will whisper, "Not today." The body will ache for comfort. The path will look too long, the reward too distant. That's where most people stop. But that's where the Stoic begins. Motivation is a spark. It burns bright but briefly. Discipline is the flame you build afterward, the one that endures the wind. It's not about feeling ready. It's about doing what's right, even when you don't. Seneca wrote, "While we wait for life, life passes." The same is true of action. While you wait to feel ready, your dreams decay in silence. While you wait for motivation, your habits weaken. The Stoics didn't wait for inspiration. They prepared for resistance. Every day was training for the mind. You've been taught to chase feelings, excitement, passion, drive. But feelings are weather, beautiful, unpredictable, and impossible to control. You can't build a life on something that changes every hour. Discipline, however, is climate. It stays steady when everything else shifts. Discipline begins where motivation ends. It's not the energy that starts the race. It's the endurance that finishes it. When you learn to act without needing a reason, you discover the deepest freedom of all, the freedom to move forward, even when everything inside you says, "Stop." The Stoics called this strength of will prohairesis, the inner power to choose your actions regardless of emotion. Epictetus taught, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." It sounds simple. It's not. It's the hardest thing in the world, to rise above mood, fatigue, and doubt, and still show up. Most people depend on inspiration to move. The disciplined person moves to create inspiration. You don't wait for energy. You build it by beginning. The act of starting is what generates momentum. Every time you act despite hesitation, you prove to yourself that emotion no longer controls you. There will be days when nothing goes right, when the results don't match the effort, when your progress feels invisible. The Stoic response is not frustration. It's persistence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. The moment you stop expecting ease, you find endurance." Discipline doesn't care about perfect conditions. It works with what it has. Rain or shine, praise or silence, energy or exhaustion, it acts. It's not a feeling. It's a promise. And you keep that promise, not because anyone is watching, but because you are. Think of the blacksmith, hours of hammering, heat, repetition. The metal resists, bends, resists again. But with enough strikes, it becomes a blade. Discipline works the same way. It's the repetition that shapes you. Each act of effort, however small, forges strength where weakness used to live. You don't build discipline in the big moments. You build it in the quiet ones. When you wake up and do what you said you would. When you train without applause. When you sit down to work, even when every distraction invites you to stop. That's where character grows, in the unseen hours. Motivation says, "Do it when you feel like it." Discipline says, "Do it until you feel it." There's a difference between wanting to change your life and deciding to. The first depends on emotion. The second depends on commitment. Once you decide, you no longer ask if you'll do it. You simply ask when. The modern world glorifies motivation, quotes, speeches, instant highs. But the Stoics taught something deeper, duty. You act not because you feel like it, but because it's your duty to yourself, to live in alignment with your values. That's real strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "At dawn, when you rise unwillingly, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Discipline begins with gratitude. When you see effort as privilege, not punishment, you stop avoiding it. Work becomes worship. Consistency becomes freedom. Ask yourself this: what kind of person do you want to be when no one's watching? The answer will decide everything. Every day, you're offered two choices: comfort or growth. Comfort whispers, "You deserve rest." Growth whispers, "You deserve more." Only one of them leads anywhere worth going. Discipline is not harshness. It's love in its purest form. The kind that cares enough to say, "You can do better." It's self-respect turned into action. When you honor your word to yourself, your confidence grows quietly. You stop seeking external validation because you trust your own consistency. Seneca said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." Discipline is that preparation, the silent investment that eventually pays interest. You can't predict when opportunity arrives, but you can ensure you're ready when it does. Some people spend their lives waiting for inspiration. The disciplined person builds their own rhythm. They don't chase mood. They create momentum through ritual, morning routines, training, journaling, planning, the daily bricks that build an unshakable mind. Each repetition rewires your brain. Each act of will strengthens the pathways of focus and resilience. Neuroscience confirms what Stoicism taught thousands of years ago. The more you practice discipline, the less you rely on emotion. You create a self-sustaining loop where action fuels clarity, and clarity fuels more action. But don't mistake discipline for perfection. It doesn't mean never failing, it means never quitting. You will fall. You will skip days. You will doubt yourself. That's part of the process. The Stoic doesn't aim for flawless progress. They aim for relentless return. Each time you start again, you prove your strength. Discipline also requires compassion. Be firm but not cruel. Push but don't punish. The goal is sustainability, not self-destruction. You're not fighting yourself. You're leading yourself. Treat your mind like a soldier. Train it hard, rest it wisely, honor its limits. In a world of shortcuts, discipline is sacred. Everyone wants results. Few want repetition. Everyone loves the idea of greatness. Few love the grind. But greatness grows from ordinary days. Days when you showed up anyway, when you pushed through boredom, when you honored effort over emotion. Imagine two paths, one easy, one difficult. The easy path gives comfort today but regret tomorrow. The hard path gives discomfort today but pride tomorrow. Discipline chooses tomorrow. It trades the quick hit of pleasure for the lasting calm of purpose. Epictetus reminded his students, "No man is free who is not master of himself. Freedom isn't doing whatever you want, it's being able to do what you must." Discipline doesn't trap you. It liberates you from inconsistency, doubt, and dependence on mood. Think of the greats, athletes, artists, thinkers. Their genius wasn't talent alone, it was consistency. They learned to show up without the promise of reward. They fell in love with the process. The Stoic called this eudaimonia, the happiness that comes from living in alignment with your purpose. The truth is, discipline is quiet. It doesn't post, boast, or need validation. It's the runner training in the rain, the writer deleting the 10th draft, the student studying when everyone else sleeps. It's not glamorous, it's sacred. When motivation dies, that's when your real education begins. You meet the parts of yourself that prefer comfort, the excuses that sound logical, the resistance that wears reason's mask. And you learn to see them not as enemies but as tests. Discipline doesn't erase weakness, it transforms it. It turns "I can't" into "I did." It turns doubt into evidence. Every act of consistency becomes proof of who you are. Eventually, you stop needing motivation because your identity takes over. You don't run to get fit. You run because you're a runner. You don't write to be inspired. You write because that's who you are. The disciplined person doesn't hope to succeed. They expect to, because they've built the habits that guarantee it. They understand that success is not a single act, but a system of daily faithfulness. To stay consistent, build an environment that supports you. Your surroundings shape your behavior more than willpower ever can. Clean your workspace. Simplify your life. Remove friction. The Stoics sought simplicity because they knew clarity thrives in order. At the end of each day, reflect. Marcus Aurelius would review his actions at night, asking where he acted with reason and where emotion won. Do the same. Reflection turns repetition into wisdom. One day you'll look back and realize discipline didn't just change your results, it changed your nature. You became calmer, stronger, and more grounded. You stopped waiting for energy and started generating it. You stopped wishing for easier days and started wishing for stronger will. Discipline doesn't make life easier. It makes you better equipped for life as it is. And that's what Stoicism has always taught. That peace doesn't come from avoiding difficulty, but from meeting it with strength. There will still be mornings when you don't want to rise. That's fine. Rise anyway. There will still be days when effort feels pointless. That's fine. Do it anyway. There will still be moments when motivation dies. That's fine. Discipline will carry you, because discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It reminds you who you are. So tomorrow, when the alarm rings and your mind resists, remember, you've trained for this. Get up, move forward, do the work. You don't need to be extraordinary to be consistent. You just need to begin, again and again, until beginning becomes your nature. And when that happens, when you no longer need motivation to move, you'll understand the quiet power of the Stoic, the one who acts not because it's easy, but because it's right. That is the power of discipline.